I was skeptical about this one. I mean, I've spent way too much money on tower speakers that promised the world and delivered, not much. Then I heard the Polk Signature Elite ES60 in a friend's setup and thought, okay, maybe this is the real deal. I borrowed them for a weekend, set them up in my living room, and honestly, I didn't want to give them back. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. These aren't just speakers, they're the kind of gear that makes you forget you're listening to recorded music. The first thing that stood out was the clarity. I streamed some jazz records I've heard 1,000 times, and suddenly I was hearing brush strokes on the snare, the breath of the sax player, the subtle reverb of the room. It wasn't just loud, it was real. That's the kind of detail you usually only get from speakers twice the price. And the bass? Surprisingly deep for a tower that doesn't take up half your living room. The ES60 uses dual power ports and 6 3-inch woofers, so the low end doesn't just rumble, it moves. I played a movie scene with a helicopter flyover, and the vibration in my chest wasn't just sound, it was physical. My neighbor actually knocked on the door to ask if everything was okay. I told him it was just my new speakers. He didn't believe me. Now, the center channel, the ES35, is where things get really interesting. I upgraded my whole system with these two, and the dialogue in movies went from muffled TV show to crystal clear theater. I watched a dialogue-heavy drama with a friend who has trouble hearing, and she didn't need subtitles for the first time. That's not just a feature, that's a life upgrade. One thing I love is how they look. The stunning black finish isn't just a name, it's a matte, furniture-grade finish that doesn't scream tech gadget. They blend into my setup like they've always been there. And they're not huge either. The ES60 towers are tall but slim, and the ES35 center is barely wider than my soundbar. So if you're worried about speaker sprawl, don't be. I also noticed how easy they were to drive. I hooked them up to my modest AV receiver, and they didn't demand power like some high-end speakers do. They played loud and clean without distortion, even at higher volumes. That's a relief when you're not running a $5,000 amp. Now, no speaker is perfect. The ES60 towers are a little heavier than I expected, so moving them around isn't a one-person job. And if you're in a small apartment, they might be overkill, you won't get the full experience unless you've got some space to let them breathe. But overall, these are speakers that respect your music and your movies. They don't try to impress you with flashy marketing, they just deliver sound that feels alive. Whether you're listening to vinyl, streaming, or watching a blockbuster, they make everything feel closer to the real thing. If you're serious about sound and tired of speakers that promise everything and deliver noise, these might be the ones. The Polk Signature Elite series isn't just another set of speakers, it's a system that actually makes your setup better. Check them out, link is below. For most buyers, the real question is not whether Polk Signature Elite ES60 tower speaker, stunning black and Elite ES35 slim center channel speaker, 1-inch tweeter and 6, 3 woofers, dual power port. Stunning black sounds impressive on paper, but whether strengths like Product 1 and Product 2 actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement were off. It is also smart to think about long-term satisfaction. A product like Polk Signature Elite ES60 tower speaker, stunning black and Elite ES35 slim center channel speaker, 1-inch tweeter and 6, 3 woofers, dual power port. Stunning black usually feels like the better buy when it stays convenient, comfortable, and reliable in normal everyday use instead of only looking good in the listing.